WOW11, everyone. We are enjoying the ride, and it's my turn today. So I've got something special from the 18th century for the good Father Pat. Yep, 18th century. It is, I think it's post-Rococo period. So it's kind of during the French Enlightenment. It's kind of yeah. Right. So we have to use accents. It's quite a gentle piece that'll draw you in. But before we get into that piece from today, I'm going to read you, as we always do, a quote that sort of sets the tone. So my quote is from my favorite South Korean-born Swiss-German philosopher.
Yeah, I've got a few of those.
Byung-Chul Han. I love this guy's insights. He teaches at the University of Berlin. And that's how he names himself, a South Korean-born Swiss-German philosopher. So this is from Byung-Chul Han, and we'll press into the quote, and then we'll step into the 18th century for some healing. I think digitalization and the smartphone make us depressed. When we are depressed, we lose our relationship with the world, with the other. We sink into a scattered ego. We need information to be silenced. Otherwise, our brains will explode. Today, we perceive the world through information. That's how we lose the experience of being present. I love that. We are increasingly disconnected from the world. We are losing the world. All right, now, a shift in the quote. That whole first half is like, wow, we'll unpack that. But then he goes on. As a child, I remember holding my mother's hand at the dentist office. Today, the mother will not offer the child her hand, but a cell phone. Support does not come from others, but from oneself. That makes us sick. We have to recover the other person. Can you see why I love this guy, Father Pat?
He might be my favorite South Korean-born Swiss-German philosopher as well.
I know there's
supplanting all those other ones.
The other 40 or 50 that you read daily.
There's just so many of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's digging right into something we actually touched on last week briefly, and now we can do so more in-depthly.
Yeah.
This thing that we do, we're in a love-hate relationship with it. And you mentioned it last week's episode, Father Pat, that we... our smartphones are great. Wow, what an ease, what a connection, what a way to look up words, find ways to get to restaurants, call friends, send messages, read interesting articles. But at the same time, last week you were talking about how they just by nature make us look down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Instead of up. And I love what he said. Well, I want you to respond first. But yeah, just what grabs you right out of the gate there, reading or hearing
I love just the line at the beginning. I think digitalization and the smartphone make us depressed.
Yeah.
Like, just ask any parent of a teenager whose kid is just phone addicted. Like, do you think that thing is helping them or hurting them?
Exactly.
Like, it's just, we've just all agreed we're all just going to have poison. We're all just going to have poison.
Just
like all the other kids have poison. My kid has to have poison.
I want poison, Mom. Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
And I'll pay for it every month.
It's just so obviously a problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love how it make us depressed, period.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the philosopher's role, right? Make you think. So you just pause and say, am I? Yeah, that's true. Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I like this line. We sink into a scattered ego.
Oh, yeah. I highlighted that. Yeah. That makes me think of like the demonic. Okay. And I'm not saying phones are demonic, don't go overboard, but I'm saying that like when Jesus encounters the demoniac and he asks, what is your name? Legion. For there are many of us, right? And who is Jesus? The Holy One of God. That in Christ there's an integrity, an integration, right? That we find ourselves, right? Or like the prodigal son, he goes off to the distant country and he loses himself, right? He like becomes scattered. He becomes legion, right? Like, yeah, that we I think that's right. I mean, I think that's demonic. That's what the demonic mind wants to do: to scatter, to divide people, families, states, nations, but especially ourselves, to divide our attention, divide us from our hearts, all those things.
And even just the stream of our thought, because we have this great gift of our intellect and the ability to comprehend and to have cohesive thoughts and bring things together, concepts and ideas. And when you have something like this gadget, you can just see it sort of slicing your thoughts constantly, like the famous flick through a phone, through a news thread or a text thread or a Facebook feed. It's by its name. It's like slicing. It's like the ham slicer at the deli, shing, 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 because everything is all disconnected from the other. Generally speaking, it's the most random conglomeration of bits of information or images, and how do we process all that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the psychology of casinos. It's the intermittent reward of the slot machine that, like, I think this is horrifying, but this is the like they want the player to play to extinction, where like you've completely exhausted all your resources, right? Like, and it's the same dopamine algorithm of all this stuff. That's like, how long can I keep you on the line? And then I'll reward you with something you're actually interested in. But
terrible image to extinction. I know you're right. No clocks on the walls in a casino, no windows to see what time of day it is. So before you know it, you just look around and it's just a bunch of skeletons with clothes on smoking cigarettes at these slot machines.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's right. Like, we are increasingly disconnected from the world. This is I mean, for me, this was the topic from last week, the look up. Like, hey, you're in a world. Like, the thing around you is so much more fascinating than the glowing box in front of you. The most boring thing in front of you is actually more fascinating than the thing on your screen, because that thing is not even real on your screen.
That's right.
Look up.
We talked last week. I sent you a picture of a Japanese maple that's the end of our block, and that tree, that single tree, intoxicates me every fall. It's literally insane. I get lost in it. And you pointed out, I sent you the picture because, like, it's probably no more than 8 feet tall. It's just sort of spread out, and there's a canopy. I went under the branch, and I'm 6'4". Picture this, Father Pat. I'm 6'4", and it's like 7:30 in the morning, and it's not even my tree. It's my neighbor's tree, and I'm like under the tree, just drinking, getting drunk at 7:30 in the morning on this. Like, what?
Metaphorically,
my friends. True, but just color, texture, dark trunk and branches against luminous leaves where the sunshine's pouring through. I'm done. I'm done. I'm undone. Undone by it, and I'm connected. Any one of these objects in the natural world, these real things, we are literally connected to. We are Adam. We are of the earth. We're the stuff of stardust. We are composed of we're all composed of atoms. We're all connected in this, and it's giving me oxygen. It's giving me breath. It's giving me oxygen, and I'm giving it carbon dioxide or monoxide. Carbon dioxide, right? I'm giving, like, my Exitus.
No one really knows.
No one really knows. It's stuff. It's like air stuff. But I gift, and then it gifts me, and we're in a cycle, and I can just sit under that tree. Yeah. So that kind of single-hearted devotion to the real, that kind of single-mindedness, that focus, that presence, that sacrament of the present moment. That's what I kind of want to step into as we move into our image.
All right. I'm ready.
So,
18th century.
18th century, drum roll, please.
Oh.
This is called Young Girl Reading from 1769. It is Jean Honoré Fragonard. Fragonard painted this again in 1769. I encountered it probably 30 years ago when I was studying art, and I got instantly captivated by Fragonard's Young Girl Reading. So let's take a gander.
I wonder why he titled it that.
Yeah. Good one, Father Pat.
Hey, thanks. Yeah. Okay. So what strikes me immediately is her pinky. That's where my eye goes first.
She's got manners. Pinky's out.
Well, there's just yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is, but that there's something about that. I don't know why that pinky's speaking to me.
That's cute. Well,
Right?
it's
But
a
like
delicate.
I've never held a book like that. I you know like I'm usually like sprawled out on my couch or my chair, like
Hands 10 and
yeah.
2, grabbing the book.
I've
Well, it's
yeah,
your big
that's
Lord of
right.
the Rings, right? It's a big book.
Not like your yeah. Come on, you're poking the wound again. I don't have your
I did.
copy.
You'll get it. Yeah, Christmas is coming. But the gentle curl of that hand there is, yeah, it's almost like she could also be sipping a cup of tea, with that pinky out. It's very delicate. It's kind of intimate. I like it, and I love the warmth.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the colors, the composition of that is just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's got a really warm palette of color, and I mean, painting. This is oil on canvas, of course, right? So, just oils take a long time to dry, so they're
Right.
very malleable for a long time, and just to be able to play with the fabric and the folds in it, and the collar. Look at that collar.
Yeah, yeah, that's really exquisite. Like like I imagine that dress for that girl was probably not the most comfortable thing. So there's
Right.
just like this juxtaposition between, like, I'm sure she's uncomfortable, but she looks so comfortable. Like, and that couch, that cushion,
Yeah.
she's in such a comfortable place of repose, but she's also, like I was saying, she's not. I've never read like that. Like she's there's like an attentiveness
Yeah.
to it.
Mhm.
Um,
Let's press into that reading. Could we go on? I mean, like the bow in her hair is it's such a neat quality to it, and such a color to it. Her arm resting on the arm rest there, the way she's just kind of relaxed there. But what is she doing? Think about the Byung-Chul Han quote. What is she doing? Just reading,
yeah, she's just reading.
one page at a time.
Yeah, and it's a real book.
It's an
It had
actual
a
book.
real smell,
Remember books?
an actual texture.
Yeah, remember books, everybody? Those square things with pages you would turn, and
Yeah.
you can go back and forth, and the texture of it, the sound of a page turning,
Oh man, yeah.
right? The smell
just-
of books.
I just in my spiritual nose just smelled this. There was a book that I was obsessed with when I was in third grade. I got
Whoa.
it from the library every single day. It was this like deep sea creatures book, and I can like still feel the weight of it. I could still smell it.
That's awesome.
Oh man, yeah,
And it's
because they do.
Yeah, they have their own smell, and paper has its own texture. There's different kinds of paper that are used in the publication of books. There's that scent. There's that feel of your finger going over the page as you sort of look at a word or press into and reread something that strikes you, and you can just kind of like tarry there for a little bit. I've read books where sunlight's slanting in and it hits the page. I always love when sunlight hits anything, but when it hits the page, it kind of becomes luminous, and I just kind of abide there for a while. We don't know what she's reading. I mean, it could be like a missal, it could be a prayer book, it could be a romance. Who knows what it is? But I wanted to show you this juxtaposed with Byung-Chul Han's quote about the smartphone today, because to me this is like, oh yeah, this is good. This is a way to get back to that single-mindedness.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to do something that's disturbing. Are you ready to be disturbed?
Oh gosh.
All right, so all we just talked about and how evocative it is for this young girl to just be doing this one thing. Go ahead, Thomas. Hit it.
Oh no. Oh no, you didn't.
I did. I did. Now, just sit with it for a minute. And Fragonard, if you're in heaven, I apologize. Please pray for me.
If you're in heaven.
Just sit with
we
this
don't
one,
know.
Pat. Now I just butchered this Fragonard, but now tell me what you're feeling.
Angst, like agitated. I'm annoyed with her.
That is so interesting. You're annoyed with her.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Where does your eye go now?
It goes right to the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, obviously this is anachronistic and, I just slapped it in there using my mad computer skills. But, and it might seem really out of joint, but, actually, when someone's holding a phone, these bright, luminous, shiny, eerie blue glow things, they are always distracting. Always. If I walk into a restaurant or a pub or something, there's a big TV screen, 30-foot. It's distracting. My eye goes right to it.
Yeah.
And I hate that. And if somebody's got a phone on, I mean, even if I'm home and I get home and I have my phone out, or I'm sitting down and I want to check something real quick, often the kids will run right over to the phone. Like, what are you doing, Dad? I'm like, hey, quit that. So but it really, yeah, I know, right? I'm not going to let this happen to you. But there's something about it that I like how you said you're annoyed at her.
Yeah.
Because it's just, you unsettled me.
Yeah. There's a last week the picture was from my England trip. We went to lots of pubs, but there was a pub that we went to, I forget the name of it, in Oxford, where there was these signs that were just like very in your face as you were entering the pub, that was like absolutely no phones whatsoever for any reason allowed in this place. If you bring your phone out, we will kick you out.
What?
And it was like, whoa.
Okay, I need you to tell me the name of that pub, because that's where we're going on the pilgrimage.
Yeah. Well, I'll get you the name of that place.
Please
but it
do.
was like, it was so great though. Like there was no TVs on the walls. All you had people at tables and booths drinking and talking.
I am so excited you just said that, and I absolutely will be going there on this pilgrimage to Oxford in 2024. I've told people that all the time. I tell people this all the time. Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien, if a pub had a radio on, like, he would just be annoyed and not go in there. Mm-hmm. This is not a place for that. This is a place for human conversation and laughter and stories and debates and opinions, right or wrong. This is a place to just be human, not to stare at. I remember going to a restaurant. There were so many screens. I counted 43 big television screens. It was one of those wings, Wild Wings or something, Buffalo Wings, pub restaurant things. 43 screens. I mean, it's insane. And how can you have a conversation? So I'm sorry I did this to you, kind of. But it's making the point, right? Like, we need to rest and be able to abide in something in order to form thoughts and ideas. In the Institute, we talk about how the thought of one person can trickle down and change the entire culture, right? From Rene Descartes' I think, therefore I am. Wow, has that one blown up in ways he never would have imagined. Yeah. To JP2, right? And how, the person is gift, the person is image of God in the visible world. These thoughts that come from quiet reading, reflection, right? Resting in something for a while, so God can get in there and inspire, and you can wrestle with stuff. I don't know what it's going to look like 20, 30 years from now if we've got a couple generations who I can't even hold that thought. I have ADD. I think we all have it already now.
It's all going to be implanted in our eyeballs. Yeah. Here's the thing I'm thinking about, the distinction between the book and the phone. Okay, so phenomenologically, put on our little JP2 lens here, but
let's do it.
So if you flash back to the image with the book, Thomas, go back.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
We're instantly refreshed.
Yeah, thank you. Her posture is the same. Now go back to the phone. Like to read the book and to hold the phone, it's the same. Like physical posture. So like when we speak about looking up versus looking down, like there's something still though, like the book, like to read the book, you are drawn into a world beyond. Like you are still looking up.
Yes.
With the phone though, like what's right in front of you is not drawing you beyond, it's coming into you. It's coming into you. And like there's like tethers that hold you captive to it.
Yes.
So yeah, I just think that distinction is important, and I think this is a great argument for books. Like
it is. Today's episode is sponsored by Barnes and Noble.
Brought to you by books.
Well, here's the thing. You're just making me think of something else from Byung-Chul Han, our favorite South Korean-born Swiss-German philosopher.
Gosh, he's my favorite South Korean-born Swiss-German philosopher.
He says, he says we're all guilty of narcissism today, like a deep, deep narcissism, and that the phones are feeding narcissism. The phones are like that old Greek myth of Narcissus who falls in love with his own reflection and drowns in the pool. I mean, it's not too far off to say the pool is the iPhone is now the pool.
Oh yeah,
where I disappear, I fall into this thing. I can't find the exact quote now, but he's so profound in this. Yeah, we just get stuck in it, and we can't seem to break out. He actually refers to the way we flick through phones, like the way we used to flick through rosary beads. He actually says that. And he says how with the rosary, though, this is an sort of outgoing meditation on the other activity, whereas the flick through our phones is sort of this narcissistic inward thing. It's more about me. It's not a meditation or a contemplation of an other. It's, Thomas, please get off this image. Go back to the book. Thanks. Okay.
We didn't touch on this in the quote, but the dentist office thing, like that's just yeah, that's so and I love how he ends this, that we have to recover the other person. The other person. Go ahead. Okay, so he says
you go. Let's do our Axio.
Yes, please.
This is the Axio. This is the Axio, and I think you're about to open it up, but let's do it. And let's hearken, right? Hearken, peoples, lend us your ears, and let's do this thing. Axio, what are we going to do to save the world?
I need a hammer. Dan, can you give me a hammer? I'm going to smash my phone live right here. We're doing it right now.
Oh, my gosh.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Seriously, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, the Axio, I mean, it's the same Axio. It's the same Axio from last week in many ways. It's the look up, and not just to, I mean, have an awareness of the people around you. I mean, you talk about the waiting rooms. You talk about where I see it so profoundly is airports. Like I hate traveling in airports now. It's really like Philadelphia Airport was the first airport where I saw like where they had just had iPads everywhere,
dozens of them,
everywhere,
built like screwed into the surface of the tables, literally like 40 of them. So you sit down and you have to stare. You can't even look at the person. You got to think. Yeah. All right. So what are we going to do? We're going to break those open too? Smash those? Might get arrested.
Smash them all. No. Just notice the people. Like take time to like actually look into the eyes of someone around you. Like
that's it.
He says we're losing our sense of the world. Where it's most profound is that we're losing the sense of the other.
Yeah. All right, I'll echo your Axio. Same thing. And just the add-on of what I said earlier, be intentional. I'm taking this home tonight. You have to be so intentional. I'm going to turn my phone on now for this reason, because I need to. I'm not just going to fill my empty space right now by grabbing it, right? And if you have kids, be very, very intentional, because kids see everything and they will model everything. So don't let them see you pacifying yourself with your phone. It's like we're all a bunch of bibes, and we got our little pacifier stuck in our mouth, and it's a phone. It's like we're all walking around like that. We're like little kids who I need a pacifier. You don't. It's a digital pacifier. I like that
you just said bibes.
Bibes. Yeah, we are. So try to be intentional. Try to only in case of emergency, break glass. Think of it that way. In case of emergency, grab phone.
Ooh,
only if
good.
you have to. And obviously for work, it's a different thing. But be intentional and be, as you said, Father Pat, more present. Who's in the room with me right now? What's going on right now? What's it smell like? Is it raining? Is it sunshine right now? And that will settle you. That will ground you again with the kind of stability of this painting by Fragonard. She's this delicate, young, beautiful young woman, but she's grounded. There's a weightiness, a gravitas where I am doing this one thing. I am doing this one thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. And that's all I'm going to do right now.
And read a book this week.
And that's the other thing. Read a book. All right. Father Pat, this has been fun. Well,
Thanks,
Valley,
Bill.
to your side. Looking forward to next week's episode 10, where you bring something awesome. Thanks, gang, for tuning in with us and following us along on this epic journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, send it to friends, and share good stuff in the comments that is causing you to wonder. Thanks again.
Yeah.
God bless, Father Pat.